When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition is the way.
Welcome to the new Atheist Experience. We are live with Kweli, Kush, and Kwame. This is the show that strives to educate, inform, and grow our community by promoting reading, critical thinking, and secular humanism as a replacement for the heavily biblical worldview that has halted the growth of our people for over 2,000 years. It is the lack of scientific literacy, logic, reasoning, and critical thinking in our community that produces a public that is more susceptible to trickery, scams, and cons. Not only does religion make one less likely to value reality, but it also produces many of the ills of our society: racism, prejudice, and various superstitious beliefs. On this show, we encourage people to question their beliefs and their origins and how religious thought patterns affect our behavior. You can listen to this show as a podcast on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. You can also watch us live on YouTube every Sunday. We also have other shows on our channel, so if you like this show, you might want to check those out as well. We have a science podcast called Shout Out Electron and an investigative podcast called New Thugs. Those links are in the description below. If you love this content, why not consider making a contribution to help us grow our platform and reach more people? Your contribution will help us pay for various monthly subscriptions and equipment costs needed to produce this content. You can make a one-time, monthly, or annual contribution directly at our website, QualityKush.com. Every dollar helps us out, so don't hesitate to show your support. If you would love to contribute but you cannot contribute financially, you can still help out the show by clicking the like button, sharing this content on your social media, or by visiting the website QualityKush.com. Your engagement helps us rank better and thus reach more people. Check the description below for all of these links. Now, for all my Bible readers out there, for all my Quran readers out there, you've been reading the same book for generations and you still have not found liberation for our people. How much better would our community be if instead of reading the same book every Sunday over and over again, we read a different book every Sunday? Imagine that. If the preacher read a different book to the congregation every Sunday instead of the same book over and over again, how much smarter would the congregation be? Well, church, at QualityKush.com, we read a different book to you every single day. For free. You don't have to read the books yourself anymore. I read them to you, and all you have to do is listen. You no longer have an excuse not to read books. Because I know a lot of y'all like to say that you don't have time or you can't sit still. Well, now you can listen to books anytime, anywhere. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on these free audiobooks. And if you don't prefer the books that I choose to read, you can get 2 free audiobooks of your choice when you sign up for a free trial with Audible. That link is also in the description, or you can go to QualityKush.com and click the audiobooks tab. So make sure you share this content on your social media and help us grow our platform and help wake these people up. And without further ado, we're going to begin the show. You are listening to the new Atheist Experience. Hey, did you know Amazon had a website for black businesses? That's right, blackownedamazon.com. If you're black, show you're black. Shop black. Every single product on blackownedamazon.com is from a black-owned business. And not only that, when you buy from blackownedamazon.com, Amazon will donate a portion of your total purchase to assist new black-owned businesses. So if you're black, show you're black. Shop black. blackownedamazon.com. Be sure to bookmark this website so that you never forget to shop at blackownedamazon.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You are listening to Atheist Church Live, formerly known as the New Atheist Experience. It is not the first show, but the first show under the new name. So, welcome to our new show, the Atheist Church Live. You are live with Kweli, Kush, and Kwame. And I want to remind you that this is a live call-in show, people. So, feel free to call the number on the bottom of the screen and you can participate in the show, ask questions, and you can tell us what you believe and why, and we can hopefully get to the truth of the matter here. Obviously, I myself am an atheist. I'm what you call a Gnostic atheist. That means I actually make the proclaim that there is no creator or God or whatever imaginary thing that you believe is outer space. They might have made the universe. I don't believe in it. So there's also other types of atheists, but we'll get into all of that later. The title of tonight's episode is God's Plan. And basically, we want to ask the people, what's the point of praying if God has a plan already? Or what's the point of praying if we have free will? Does our prayer override God's will? How does that work in your belief system? Call in and let us know, because it's something that I think pretty much proves, if you think about it logically, that the God that you believe in probably does not exist. You cannot know everything and know the future and still be influenced by the prayers of men and women and change your mind. That means you know that you're going to change your mind. That doesn't make any sense if you already knew everything in the future. So either God that you believe in or that has been proposed in Christianity and most other religions does not exist, or the attributes of that God are drastically different than what has been presented. Okay, so at the risk of seeming very simple, essentially many of you believers think that the trials and tribulations of earthly life will be wiped out by eternal bliss in the hereafter. Here's my issue. Why do some of us have to suffer while others don't have to suffer as much? Some people suffer terrible amounts just to earn the same prize in the end as those who suffer comparably little. Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Some people are simply sexually molested or something like that before they turn even a year old. So why does a baby who has a sick, drunk uncle visit her at her crib while her parents aren't watching, has to go through the horrendous suffering while others don't? I say the baby got a raw deal, which leads me to conclude that either God's plan is nothing but rationalization or something that people say to make their difficulty in dealing with suffering in God unfair so that they can cope. Since I don't actually believe in God exists, my true opinion is that the matter is a rationalization, but it's a selfish and cruel one, to say the least. Now, if you don't think so, you can go visit a rape clinic and explain to the victims themselves that God chose for this to be this way, and that they should be lucky and thankful that they played a role in God's plan. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Kwame Ramesu, brother Kwame, are you in the building, sir?
Black African Power, what it do, fam? How y'all doing tonight?
Peace and black power, man. I'm good, bro. Look like we got a few people in the chat, man. So what's up, everybody? We want to thank y'all for coming through the Atheist Church Live.
Oh yeah, we have a church today. In a church.
Right.
What the preacher say? We said church. You don't say church, you say church.
But yeah, man, I just was asking the people why pray.
You know, I talked to Shay. Yeah, I talked to Shay earlier today, and I asked her. I said, could you be a good person if there was no such thing as a religion or a God belief? Could you still be a good person? She went on a whole different tangent. She didn't answer my question. None of that shit. Then she blocked me on Messenger because the question was too tough. So that lets me know if you're a Christian, you are incapable of being a good person with good morals and empathy. You know what I'm saying? Because of what you know now. But if there was no, and the reason why I ask Christians this question, or people that believe in Christianity or Judaism or Islam or whatever, I ask them this question just as you know, in a way to get them to like, hey, where did my morality really come from? Did it come from my upbringing or did it come from that Bible? Because as a person grows up, they're being taught about God, but their morality comes from their upbringing. See, that's the thing that they're missing. Your morality, a person don't teach you. I know for me, growing up in Christianity, my morality did not come from the Bible. It came from my upbringing. You know what I'm saying? It didn't come from a book. Now, if every Christian, like my grandmother, my grandfather, my grandfather didn't believe in it, but my mom and all this other shit, if they saw the morality in the Bible, they probably wouldn't be Christians if they actually read the fucking book. Now, let's talk about God's plan. Kweli, could you pull up Ephesians 1:11, please?
Ephesians 1:11.
Yeah.
All right, let me see.
What's up, DSA?
Ephesians 1:11 says, furthermore, because we are united with Christ, we have received an inheritance from God, for he chose us in advance and he makes everything work out according to his plan.
So that's why I want to ask Christians, are we more powerful than God to change his plan? I want a Christian to call me out and call us up and say yes, or we have a choice to choose God's plan. So that means if God just put a plan out there and say, okay, you choose this plan or that plan, so that means he has two plans for you. He has a plan for you to go down the wrong path or the right path. And you choose whatever plan. I don't think that's how your God works. Because you can't pray like somebody about to get hit by a train in your family. You can't pray that they don't get hit by a train, if that's what God's plan is.
According to
you know what I'm saying, or vice versa.
According to the Christians, you can, man. It's crazy because they make the craziest rationalizations for this stuff, right? So basically, their excuse is we have free will, so we got the will to pray, but God know everything at the same time. But I guess in their mind, they just can't understand that those are contradictory thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So they'll say on one hand that we got the free will. On the other hand, they say God knows. So that means it's pointless. That means God sat back here a billion years ago and said that, okay, so-and-so is going to pray that their mom gets cured from cancer. I'm either going to heal that prayer as God. He's going to answer that prayer. Or he's not going to answer that prayer. But if you already know what's going to happen and you know that this person is going to pray, that means this person does not have free will. It's already written a billion years ago, right?
Right.
All right. So I'm just making sure I'm not tripping, you know. So try to tell that to a Christian though.
They don't want trying to tell it to a Christian, man. They'll tap dance and they'll shift the burden of proof. Like she tried to shift the my damn phone went out.
You good?
Okay. Like she'll try to shift the burden of proof and say, well, who created everything? I said, we're not talking about creation. We're talking about if you're God, if there was no such thing as a belief in a God or God's plan or anything, could you still be a good person? And she just basically just started shifting the burden of proof and doing all this other shifting and stuff like that. Victim blaming. But I asked her, I said, was it your God's plan? This is the part that got her. I said, was it your God's plan for you to meet me? And she said, yeah. I said, how do you know that? Because he's trying to turn you back to him. Through you? Okay. That's why I said through you? Like, really? Yeah, right. I'm like that. What's that dude name? Dr. Evil? Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. God chose you to get me back to him. Good choice, God. Good job.
Yeah, that's the idiotic stuff that I hear from theists a lot. They'll say stuff like you say, was it God's plan for you to meet her? And you an atheist, so, and she said, yeah, because they believe stuff like, they'll say stupid stuff like God's working through you, like God's using the atheist to make a point for them or something. You know what I mean? So right. Again, that underlying truth, if that's true, then that means you don't have free will. but they'll say that you got free will, but God's working through you at the same time.
What? Yeah, exactly. Did God call you on the phone and say, hey, I need you to go talk to this nigga Kwame and Kweli? You know what I'm saying? I need y'all to go talk to them for me when I can actually do the shit myself, but I want to use humans so they'll actually blanket believe that I sent you to them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the funny part about this God character, man. Come on,
that's what it all boils down to.
I'm gonna make you blanket believe that I sent them to.
These people they want people to believe.
Yeah.
So that's what it all boils down to, man. They even say it like let me see what website it says. I had it pulled up earlier. Okay, it's homefaithfamily.com, right?
Right.
I'm gonna just read it because it's not that long. It's just like a paragraph. So why pray? Because we need prayer now more than ever. There are countless arguments against prayer and the why of even saying them. Some even argue that there's no purpose to prayer. Prayer doesn't prevent chaos from happening because the wicked acts still occur. I will argue otherwise. We need prayer more than anything in this world right now. Prayer coupled with faith opens up the floodgates to heaven's miracles in our lives and in the lives of others. When we take the time to pray, we acknowledge our dependence upon the Lord and His grace and mercy. We can't fight our battles without Him. We need Him more than ever. So basically what they're saying on homefaithfamily.com is that when you pray, you basically affirming God that you on His team. And without that, again, like I said last week, God not gonna even fuck with you if you don't have faith and believe in Him, even though He hasn't given you evidence enough to even have faith. You gotta have this blind faith, and that's what your prayer is supposed to do. It's supposed to let God know, I'm still a sucker, I still believe in you. But let me keep on finish reading. It said, so when you find yourself questioning your desire to pray or your why, since God knows everything anyway, remember these few things. 1, God doesn't need your prayers because He knows exactly what you need before you even ask. But we need Him in our lives so desperately. Now listen to this. Now they just said it right here. God don't need your prayers. This is coming from a Christian website. Number 2, our prayers are proactive of faith on our part. We need to be willing to wrestle with our faith at God's footstools so we can come to say, thy will be done. So basically they're saying God don't need your prayers, but you need to pray because you're going to be doubting the stuff when the shit don't happen. So you need to affirm yourself through praying to keep your faith strong, to keep yourself delusional. That's what prayer is. That's what it says, bro. I just read it. That's exactly what it said.
That's basically what it is. That's all that what it is. So, yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for Christians to come even ask that question. And like I said, even when I told Shay that, Shay talking about, man, we always want to debate and we were disingenuous. I said, how is thought provoking disingenuous when we're trying to get you to think about your belief system? Somebody, you got to know a relationship. I said, look, that's religion. You're talking about having a relationship with somebody you never seen before. That's religion, and it's really weird. We haven't talked in weeks, but I'll be trying to invite her to the show. But you know what? She blocked me on Facebook. I can't message her. Like the last statement, I hate when people block you where you can't say shit. Like when you want to rebut, they'll block you when you know you got them. When you know you got them, they block you. And like I told her, I said, just come in and can you give us some insight on why God's plan is less powerful than your prayers. So I'm saying they make it seem like the prayers are less powerful than God. You know what I'm saying? And let's say, for instance, they want to pray to win a lottery, but God say no. So if God says no and you win the lottery through your prayers, then that means God had to change His mind. So your God is not all powerful if your God has to change His mind. Your God is a straight beta male or female or whatever. But if God has to change His mind, He's not all powerful. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, not all knowing either.
Right.
But with this God being said to be all knowing and all powerful, you can't change His plans. A kid having cancer in the hospital, you can't pray that shit away without medical. If a child goes to the hospital and has cancer, and you pray that he's get healed, you want to thank God. But it wasn't God's plan. It was a damn medical assist. It was a medical assistance of the doctors, the medication. It did nothing. It's like this what gets me. Like, if somebody's on life support and they pray that he get off life support and his body goes back into remission to where it works on its own, it was the medication. It was the life support system that did that. It wasn't God. It was a life support. Mm-hmm. Because they kept him on there long enough to try to see if he can breathe on his own. They was giving him medication. That's what trips me out about Christians. You want to believe that this God is real, but if somebody gets shot on the street, you can't pray him that he's healed. Like God's supposed to. I remember when this story in the Bible where God healed the blind man. I don't remember that. Yeah, God healed the blind man, and he touched his face and he could see again. But why this Jesus ain't touching people's faces until they can see again? It's still blind people. We still have facilities where they go and teach the blind. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure those people that are, I'm sure that those people that are blind, their parents are Christian. I'm certain of it. You know what I'm saying? And they can't pray their child's sight back. If that was the case, then there would be no need for a blind center. There would be no need for hospitals. There would be no need for police. There would be no need for security. There would be no need for nothing if this God was real. Oh, but the enemy, but the devil. Oh, so y'all want to blanket blame the devil when your God is the main reason why the devil was created. Isaiah 45:11. Yeah, God created peace.
Crazy, it's psychological warfare, man. It's like, first of all, when you do the research, you'll understand it very clearly. It's a war. If you look at the Bible and the religion as a weapon, it makes a lot more sense, because what the real enemy has done is they've convinced their enemy that they're not an enemy, and they made up an imaginary character, a fictional character, and convinced you and all the people, not you personally, but the believers, that this character is the enemy. You know what I mean? This character that you never seen. If you ask somebody to describe the devil, they probably gonna say the nigga got horns and a ponytail and a pitchfork. Where you get that from? Where you get that image from? You know what I'm saying? And like, that's why I asked homegirl the other day, Shay. I asked her, I said, because she said something about the enemy. I said, who is the enemy? You know what I'm saying? She said the devil. You know what I'm saying? That's not your enemy. That's not who's working against you out here in the world. You know what I mean? There are people that are working against you, and they ain't none of them red, ain't none of them coming from underground, ain't none of that shit. You know what I mean? They regular people like you and me. So you don't know who your real enemy is. How can you even fight back? First of all, that's why black people been getting their ass kicked for thousands of years, because we forgot that we're in a war, first of all. And secondly, we forgot who the enemy was. We think the enemy is some imaginary person, and we forgot who got the power to save us. We think the savior is gonna come from outer space and save us. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about that is the motherfucker that they waiting on to save them couldn't even save his damn self. His whole plan was to come here and lose. It don't make no damn sense. You know what I'm saying? So we just gotta wake up, man. We gotta wake the people up. So I think the question of why pray, if we got free will or if God already knows the future, that's something that I ain't never heard a good answer to. You know what I mean? So even when you go to the prominent apologists, they give the most ridiculous answers, like the one we just read. The most ridiculous responses that make no sense. They just say, okay, you praying to let God know that you got faith, but God already knows everything. So he know if you got faith, your prayer don't mean nothing. So it's like, because anytime they have to say that you letting God know something, I'm like, well, damn, I thought you already know. You made it. That's a good point. You letting God know that you love him. Shouldn't he already know that? You letting God know that you have faith in him. Shouldn't he already know that? Whether you have faith or not, true faith, because I feel like a lot of these Christians are
are fake believers. Like they fake believe. You know what I'm saying? It went from make believe to fake believe. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's like, well, let me believe just in case. I don't think God would know that I'm really true, that I'm really faking though. Nah.
Yeah, bro.
No, we don't know. We don't. It's out of fear, but we don't know if our woman faking them when we making love to our women. We don't know if she's faking. She's like, oh God, oh God. We don't know if she's doing, but God should know, right? That we faking. You know what I'm saying? If God don't know we faking, then I see why he's single. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Shit.
Yeah,
that's just the reality
they
of
haven't
it.
thought that through yet. They think they can trick God into thinking that they are good believers. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the mind fuck of the religion and shit. You're allowed to do a whole bunch of fucked up shit as long as you repent. You know what I mean?
That part, man. Yeah. But God probably set you up to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So you can, so you can come ask for forgiveness. You know, that sounds like a megalomaniac.
It's all God's plan. That means like, for some reason, God had it in his plan for serial killers to be a thing. He sat back a billion years ago and he said, you know what? I'm gonna make one species and I'm gonna make a few of them psychopaths. And a few of them gonna go around raping and killing each other. Just a few of them. And to teach a lesson to the rest of them. Like, what type of God do you believe in where that's he's the creator of all of this stuff in the universe, but his best method to teach you a lesson is to create a Ted Bundy. You know,
or create a John Wayne Gacy. You know what I'm saying? The cake dude. You know what I'm saying?
Or to have a
popsicle guy.
Or to have a mother give birth to a dead baby in stillbirth. What lesson is possible from what lesson is how is that God's plan? What part of the plan is that? Oh, well, God works in mysterious ways. You know what I'm saying? I think that was Ricky Gervais or one of them white comedians. He said, since God's so mysterious, next time I date a religious girl, she come home, I'm gonna be raping her mama, and she asks me what I'm doing. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm mysterious.
Damn. That's crazy, man.
God's doing a whole bunch of fucked up shit. He flooded the world. He doing all the shit. But if we ask questions, what's the point of that? They say, oh, you can't understand that. How did you come to that conclusion? If God's so mysterious that we can't understand him, how do you know that God is too mysterious to understand?
Exactly. They always think they know what God knows, but they don't understand him. Like, I mean, don't leave it on your own. All right, wait a minute.
That you can't understand. You can't understand it, but I understand that you can't understand it. That don't make no sense to me. That's why we got the.
Hey, you know what? I wanna, when I get my computer back, I'm gonna start creating them little sound effects. I'm gonna start like downloading Austin Powers, Dr. Evil, right? Yeah, I'm gonna start like hitting that button, and you can hear in the background, be like, right, you know. So.
Yeah, man, I want to see if we can bring
XJ
who got some sounds or something, you know, who can play the organ or some shit. Since we got the church theme going, we can have like have that shit in the background and shit. We're gonna bring a whole bunch more to the show in the future, folks.
And you know what, man? That's actually I think that's genius what you did call it the Atheist Church. It's kind of a slap in the face to Christianity. I'm glad you did that shit. It's like a slap in the face. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks better too. And it's, you know, if you don't know, at least research the. Okay, so XJ said, if the God of the Bible is omniscient, then we truly can do anything outside of his knowledge. We can't do you 100%, Jay. Then we got Chirac. If you don't know, at least research Germanitra. You're fake woke. You fake woke.
I want to comment on something that XJ said earlier. He said he got a test tomorrow, and if you pray about it, will that change the outcome? Well, not only would that not change the outcome, but if it did, that would mean that your God is a cheater, and he's helping you cheat on your test. So instead of empowering you by allowing you to study so that you will actually know the information and pass the test, and actually retain the information, which is why they're quizzing you. They're not quizzing you so you can pass the test. They're quizzing you so you can know the information. you're gonna pray for the test. Now I know that's not what you're doing, Jay. I know you're just being facetious. But people who pray for grades on the test and stuff like that, what you're doing is you're asking God to help you cheat. Which, if you believe in the God of the Bible, it's all fair because that God is a liar anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we can go to John 20:17 and prove that God lied. I want somebody to call in so I can ask them about it. But let me look it up.
They don't want to come to the atheist church. They don't want to come to get some real checks. We ain't asking nobody to pass around a collection plate and all that shit. You ain't gotta pass around a collection plate. We just want you to pass around your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Get some knowledge.
This right here prove to you that the God of the Bible is a liar. On John 20:17, it said, Jesus saith unto her, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father. But go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. So am I reading this wrong, or is Jesus asking Mary to lie to the brethren and say that he ascended even though he hasn't? He said,
yeah, because he's like, oh, I'm sore. Don't touch me. I'm sore.
Touch me
Ooh,
not,
baby, don't touch me.
I am not yet ascended to my Father. But go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father. You gotta deal with this if you believe in this buy bullshit. If you buy the bullshit, you gotta deal with this. Because as an atheist, this is why I can't fuck with your religion, because of a plethora of things like this that contradict not only the doctrine that you taught me about your God, but what the book itself says about your God. It contradicting its damn self. So why is Jesus lying or telling Mary to lie? You know what I'm saying? Then we can go to Genesis when God told Adam not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or the day he eat of it, they will surely die. And the serpent came along, and the serpent said, you won't surely die, but you will know good and evil like God do. So I ask you, believers, who in that scenario told them the truth? Who told Adam and Eve the truth? Was it God or was it the serpent? Because you have been told that the serpent was evil and that God can't lie. But in that scenario, God lied. And the serpent told the truth because they ate of the apple, they ate of the tree, and they didn't die that day.
And God said, the day that you touch it, even if you touch it, even if you touch the shit, you're gonna die. And they lived to be 900 some years old.
So who told the truth, man? Who was lying? You know what I'm saying? And
come on, Christians, call me.
That was one of the first things that I was that got me started and when I was doubting the Bible and stuff, when I found out that Lilith was existing before Eve, and another book that they took out of the Bible, and that the serpent told the truth, and they never actually said that the serpent was the devil, and all this stuff, you know what I'm saying, just make you go, So that's why I bring those things to your attention, because that'll get you started. It's like a seed that gets planted in your mind, and that seed's going to grow when you start to learn more and you actually do the research instead of just believing, like what Ray Hagen said in the sermon. He said, you've been in church for 15 years, but you ain't learned nothing in the last 10 of those years that you ain't learned in the first 5. You just getting the same information regurgitated to you over and over and over again. That's why we do a different book every Speaking of different books, let's go ahead and get into the book of the day real quick. It don't take but a second. And today's book of the day is
Kweli, did you get that video I sent you? Did you get that video I sent you?
Nah.
Oh man, I sent it to you. It was about the yeah. I'm gonna try to see if I can resend it to you. But go ahead and do the book of the day, man.
We got
I'm gonna take me a little break.
All right. The book of today is God, the Failed Hypothesis. How Science Shows That God Does Not Exist, by Victor J. Stenger. Now, throughout history, Arguments for and against the existence of God have been largely confined to the philosophy and theology, while science has sat on the sidelines. Despite the fact that science has revolutionized every aspect of human life and greatly clarified our understanding of the world, somehow the notion has arisen that it has nothing to say about the possibility of a supreme being, which much of humanity worships as a source of all reality. This book contends that if God exists, some evidence for this existence should be detectable by scientific means, especially considering the central role that God is alleged to play in the operation of the universe and the lives of humans. Treating the traditional God concept as conventionally presented in the Judeo-Christian and Islamic traditions like any other scientific hypothesis, physicist Stenger examines all of the claims made for God's existence. He considers the latest intelligent design arguments as evidence of God's influence in biology. He looks at human behavior for evidence of immaterial souls and the possible effects of prayer. He discusses the findings of physics and astronomy in weighing the suggestions that the universe is the work of a creator, that humans are God's special creation. After evaluating all the specific evidence, Stenger concludes that beyond a reasonable doubt, the universe and life appear exactly as we might expect if there were no God. So, the audiobook for this book is in the description. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. And if you sign up for Audible, you will also get 2 free audiobooks every month via the link in this video's description. So I encourage everybody to check this book out. It has a foreword by Christopher Hitchens, the late Christopher Hitchens. If y'all know anything about him, y'all know it's going to be a good read. So check that out. The link, again, is in the description. And you can go to QueliKush.com to see all of the past book suggestions that we have on this channel. But back to the topic. Why pray if God knows everything? God knows the future. God is the arbiter of the past. God knows your desires. God knows if he's going to answer your prayer. So why pray anyway? You know, according to roomfordoubt.com, author Zach Brittenbach says, even though God eternally knows what he's going to do about everything, unlike humans who decide things as we go, God also eternally knows what humans will freely choose to do, including our prayers, and he incorporates our free choices into his eternal plans for humanity. However, God did not change his mind about healing of a sick person's mother, like we mentioned earlier. God's decision to answer a prayer is made from eternity's past rather than on the fly. As a result, the prayer does affect the outcome. So, according to Mr. Brittenbach, he's saying God already knew in the past, but the prayer somehow still has an effect on the outcome. So, I don't know. Somebody please call in and help me understand this, because it sounds to me like a contradiction, an oxymoron, if you will. It makes no sense. So today I'm NBA Youngboy. I feel like Gucci Mane in 2006, because this Bible shit just make no sense. Remix. Please, somebody call in and help a nigga understand this.
You know what, Kweli? I think that we're too powerful of atheists that they are too afraid to call in for us, because we're gonna, I'm not saying that the ACA or Atheist Rand or any other atheist, mainstream atheist people are. I know we're mainstream too, but I think when it comes to us, we delve into the real life situation. We done had arguments on here, yelling and all the other shit. We bring the drama. But the thing is, they don't want no smoke with us. Now we're the atheist church. You know what I'm saying? Hey, for the record, y'all, just because we're the atheist church, we really want theists to come. We rather have theist callers. Atheists can call in, but we rather have theist callers. Just so y'all know.
Oh yeah, I even I unblocked a couple of people too. So if you've been blocked in the past, you might want to try your luck. You might get through. I unblocked some people just because, for that reason that you mentioned, because you know, so I feel like people might be a little scared, and the few people that wasn't scared, they was a little too, they went overboard, so we had to block them, you know what I'm saying? But they've been blocked for a couple months now, so I figured we'll give them a second chance, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say no names, but if you know who you are, if you've been blocked and you ain't been able to chat, you ain't been able to call, just try your luck. You might get through today, shit. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's a little bit of I know our show, we got to grow a little bit, but I do think that people get a little scared to call in because we ain't dealing with the whole I got an opinion and you gotta believe what I believe, because that's what they want. They want to argue against people who have different beliefs, because it's easy to expose what somebody believes. That, you know what I'm saying? We do this shit all the time. But when you talking about facts, when you talking about history, and we talking about science, they can't argue with that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why, you know, I wanted to ask you about Shorty, like, because I don't think she the type of person that will ever say, I don't know. And when you're dealing with somebody who can't get to that point when they don't know something, they can't say, I don't know. They shut down. You know what I'm saying? They either just like, they don't want to say nothing, or I can't talk to you, because they can't admit that they don't know the answer to your question, or they get defensive and they try to make it seem like you attacking them. Oh, how dare you? You know what I'm saying?
That part. Now, like I said, all I did was ask her. I said, "Hey," I said, "It's a nice topic," because she had me about a topic ago, like a few days ago. What's the topic for the show tonight? She just simply asked that question, and I didn't get back to her till today. I said, "Well, tonight's topic is God's plan." I said, "Can you call in and stuff?" That's what she said. You know what? I'm not gonna call in because you boys want to debate. Y'all are disingenuous and this and that, this and that, this and the third. And I said, well, ask the question. If you didn't have a God or a God belief or a religion, could you still be a good person? They wouldn't. Why? I don't understand why Christians won't answer that question. If it's God's plan, if it's God's plan for you to believe, yeah, I'm like, oh, do you have free will? This is what I should have asked, and this is what I'm asking right now on the show. Does anybody that believe in God has the free will to not believe in God? And if you don't believe in God, then what's the consequence for not believing? You're going to say hell. So so you're going to be inclined to believe. So do you have free will? You're only believing because you're afraid of going to hell. You think this hell is real. So there is no free will if there's going to be a consequence behind it. You cannot have consequences with a God that says you have free will. If there's free will if there's a consequence behind your beliefs or your actions, then there's no such thing as free will. I'm just saying. Just saying, man.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's like saying, I'm gonna put a gun in your head, and you can choose to sit or you can choose to stand. But I'm telling you, if you stand up, I'm gonna pull this trigger. But you can do whatever you want to do. But if you choose to stand up, I'm gonna shoot your shit out of you. That's what they God is saying. You got free will, but if you do what I don't want you to do, it's eternity to hellfire for you, brother. You know what I'm saying? So that's not really free will. That's like a pseudo free will. That's like saying, okay, do what you want to do or else. But I could choose the or else. But the mind fuck is, they don't even give you the evidence that the or else is there. You just gotta take their word for it.
That point.
You know what I'm saying?
That part.
It's like somebody coming to you while you at work, right? They come to your job. They saying, bro, you can't go home because, bro, your house burned down. Would you take somebody's word for that? Or would you want to see your fucking burned down house? They say, there's no point to go home, bro. Everything is gone. You lost everything. There's nothing there. You got nothing there but ashes. Okay, I still want to see. I want to go see if I can maybe salvage something. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I'm telling you, it's gone. Where's your faith? Would you, if that don't make no sense to you, if you wouldn't take somebody's word on that, then why would you take somebody's word on hell? It's the same scenario, except it's even worse, because hell, you can't verify that unless you're dead. And I don't know about you, but
Yeah,
last time I
you
checked,
can't come back to life and say, "Hey, y'all,
last
I'm
time I
back."
checked, when I
You know,
kill
Jesus took
somebody,
about the ground and say,
when I
"Hey, everybody, I'm back."
if I kill
Yeah, hell is
somebody,
real, heaven is
they don't
real.
do nothing after that. If I kill somebody, they just dead. If I kill a deer, if I'm hunting or I shoot a duck, I don't expect that duck soul to go nowhere. It's a dead duck. But for some reason, when it comes to humans, people think we special. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to get out of that and recognize that the earth is not very significant. Everything on the earth disappeared. The whole earth disappeared. The universe will be virtually the same, be 99.99999% the same. And even if there was a God, I don't think one little marble in this vast cosmos means a whole lot. So the individuals on earth mean even less than the earth itself. But we just, because we are us, we think that we're supposed to be special. But that's just not the case. And when we realize that, then maybe we can actually, empower ourselves and do something, because that's what makes everything more spectacular. When you look at it like, damn, bro, we just happened to be here, and now we got a space program. That's a miracle. You don't need no magic to be in awe. You know what I'm saying? To be in wonder of the universe and the life that we live. You don't need no magic required. You know what I mean? All you gotta do is actually think about the shit, and then the magic of reality will make itself apparent. Speaking of the magic of reality, man, Richard Dawkins got a book called The Magic of Reality. They took away his humanitarian award or some shit, the Humanist of the Year award. That's what it was. They took away his Humanist of the Year award because he said something about trans people. Did you hear about it? Kwame, did you hear about it? Hold on. Oh, I gotta check my sign. It might be my sign. Look like we got a caller, 706 area code. Who's that?
What up? DSA1.
Oh, what's going on, bro?
Nothing much. What's good with y'all? Salute to the chat.
Shit much, man. Just trying to see if we can get some of these Christians to answer this question, bro. What you got for us?
Man, I don't think they can answer that question. Know what they want to. just for the simple fact it goes is cognitive dissonance that'll start shaking their foundation. They don't want that. It's like, if any of y'all watched anime, it's an anime called Sword Art Online. A lot of people call it Sword Art Online, SAO. And in it, you can go into the game virtually. And when you're in it, you can literally die, but you don't actually die until somebody ends up hacking the game. And in a sense, this is that game. You're locked in virtually, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So used to the pain, you pray to this deity to get whatever it is you need to get, but then when it don't happen, you start to self-doubt and self-pity and self-loathe, and that puts you in a further emotional, and for people who are spiritual, a spiritual hole that some people can't get out of. And to a lot of Christians, it's more spiritual than anything. When you ask questions that's that deep and cut that deep, man, they don't want to answer those questions. Or they'll try to use the book to, I want to say, answer or double back on what it is that you're asking them to solidify their answer. And that's crazy.
Yeah, that's what happens, bro. You're right. I remember when we had the dude who mama came and snatched him off the show. That's all he wanted to do is go back to the book and be like, dang, bro, do you have the answer to anything? You got to get all the answers from this book. Like, this shit crazy. And it's dangerous, especially when you know where the book came from. So, you know what I mean? It's like, if the book had all the answers, then why want to teach us about quantum mechanics and stuff? Why do we have to figure out that stuff through science? Why didn't the Bible teach us all this stuff? If the book was written by God and it's the word of God and all this stuff, he didn't give us all this technology. So You know, and then you even got some people who like believe that technology is of the devil. They call it the Amish. So I'm not too far off in my interpretation of it, but it's all a mind fuck, man. That's why I call it the Bible and not the Bible, because if you believe in that shit, you literally have to buy bull. And it's sad that so many black people still are falling victim to this weapon.
But you understand why though?
Yeah, I understand why. But it's so hard to try to tell somebody to tell somebody that. It's like, because basically that's like telling somebody that they brainwashed.
You can't tell a brainwashed person they brainwashed because they don't even know it.
Exactly.
It's like trying to tell somebody you good. It's like trying to tell somebody they leg broke, but they going through so much adrenaline and their pain tolerance is so high, they don't believe they leg broke.
Bro, I'm glad you said that shit, because I was having this conversation with my homie the other day, man. He a Christian, right? And I was telling him, like, the religion is holding you back. Well, you know, we had this show about your faith is holding you back, and I was telling him, man, that shit holding you back. And he was like, shit, I'm straight. Like, I'm doing good for myself. What you mean it's holding me back? Like, I feel like you trying to say I'm not a good person or something. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I agree that you doing good for yourself, but I'm saying we both don't know what you could be doing if you didn't have this religion on your back. You could be going like to the moon, you know what I'm saying? If you doing what you're doing now, imagine what you could be doing if you wasn't being held back, if you didn't have this fucking ball and chain around your ankle. That's what I'm saying. So people that's like, you got people that like the type of work I do, I got clients that's like rich people. So when I'm around rich people, a lot of them are heavily religious, and it's real hard to tell somebody who's doing good for themselves that you believe some bullshit. And if you didn't believe it, you would be doing even better. But that's just it's the truth, though. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine, I don't care how good you're doing or how good you feel, how happy or content you think you are with your life. Just imagine if you wasn't delusional. Because if you can amass a wealth and a good standard of living for yourself and be delusional at the same time, imagine what the fuck you could do if you didn't have that shit. Because you know what I'm saying, I just know what the difference that it made when I went from believing in bullshit to being skeptical and not just taking people's word for shit, you know what I'm saying, just because he the preacher or your parents told you, you know what I'm saying. Because a lot of shit that we get told just simply not true. Like the simple shit like, oh, you can't swim at 20 minutes after you eat something. You know, it's not true. The actual truth is you can't do a strenuous physical activity right after you eat. You're going to get a cramp. But swimming ain't got nothing to do with it. But that's just a myth that we get told, and we believe it because we take it on face value and we don't do research. And when you actually do the research, you find out, damn, I didn't know about this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what gets you.
But the funny thing about that part is people equate the eating to swimming as you getting a cramp. But what you just said is like the topping on it. You're doing a strenuous exercise. Think about it when you get in the pool. You playing, you using all of your muscles because the water is not like air. It's not holding you back. So you have to use basically every muscle in your body to run around in the water, swim in the water, dive underwater. You're using almost every part of your body to do that. Once you're doing that, you're going to cramp up. It's just like if you run track. I remember when I used to play soccer, I used to know the track coach. And some of my friends ran track. He would tell them, don't go in there, like say it was chicken day. You get like a breast and the regular size with it as far as school lunch go, and you get a milk. He would tell them, he was like, look, don't y'all go in there and eat all that food and then drink a milk and come out here, you're going to throw up. Folks didn't believe him. We out there running drill because I paid attention to it. We out there running drill, and he wasn't even my coach. I just took the advice. So we out there running drills, doing our stuff because we getting ready to prepare for our first game. And I'm saying like 6 out of 12, I say 6 out of 15 people out there, he had already had the garbage can set up because he knew somebody was going to do it. It was out there hurling, throwing up. He was like, I told y'all not to go in there and eat all that food. And then you come out here in the sun is going to make the milk on your stomach spoil. So you're going to get sick. You're going to throw up. Just like trying to tell somebody who's religious, if you're doing extremely good for yourself, nothing's going to happen to you because you believe in your God, but not realizing that you put in all the leg work. You did all the work to get to where you're at. You don't want to talk to them clients and you talk to them people to get your business put in the forefront for people to do what they need to do. And especially if you running your, like, let's just say a small business. You running it. You're the one out there putting them signs up. You're the one out there getting in contact with the people to advertise your business. And then if you have a team with you, it's you and your team doing it. God didn't come down or send an angel down to talk to these business associates and these banks to get you that loan so you can open up your business. You did that. You put in all that work to get there.
Facts, man.
And a lot of people like you were saying, they contribute everything to God, and everything bad happens because of the devil. When you don't even realize God killed like the whole planet at one point. God set one group of people to go to war with another group of people and take everything from them, their women and their children. God let a lot of this stuff happen. As a matter of fact, he orchestrated a lot of it, but you don't talk about none of that. You don't bring none of that up. You don't even acknowledge it. Well, God got me on the right path. How do you know? How do you know that you're not the one seeing things happen a certain way and you're adjusting to it and not following that same route and fixing yourself and getting out of the situation that you're in with some help? Because most people, not to knock anybody, most people can't do everything by themselves. You need a team of people, family members, friends, or just family. You need somebody or a group of people to help you get to where you got to go. That's the way the system works. That's the way the universe works. Because if it was that easy, like in video games, anime, or whatever, you would see one-man armies out here knocking off a whole platoon of people, no problem by themselves. You can't do it. Prime example, if you think about SEAL Team, I think it was 6 or one of them that was in that spot where Hillary Clinton let these folks get knocked off. It was a team of 6 highly trained individuals who held off like half a city that had guns, that had artillery type weapons, who had grenades. It was 6 of them that held that spot down until they got help for like 3 or 4 days straight. Where was God at? So you mean to tell me these 6 Christians, I'm going to just put the hypothetical out there, these 6 Christians who are highly trained, let's say futuristic ninjas, fought against a half a city overseas with no help because the help couldn't get there in time for like the next 2-3 days because the help was catching hell trying to get to them to help them?
And let's put it like this. What if they wasn't trained? What if they just said, look, we want you to act like you SEAL Team 6 with no training? All you got to do is pray. Do you think God would have helped them then? Hell no. You have to actually have training. People don't understand.
Bro, the whole squad would have got knocked off.
Yeah. But they were supposed to be supposedly Christians, though. Nigga, if you don't like, that's what I was talking about, like the shit earlier. A lot of times these people, these Christians, go to the doctor. Oh, you got high blood pressure. Go to the doctor, you got diabetes. Go to the doctor, you got liver problems or whatever. Oh, what medication should I take? Well, I'm going to pray while the medication is working that it'll go away. And then when the medication works, I'm going to give credit to God.
Yeah.
That shit.
And you know what they say on top of that? God gave the scientists the ability to do what they do. God gave the doctors the ability to have a steady hand when they doing their surgery, cutting your ligaments and reattaching them and sewing you back up to help you walk again or run again or use your fingers again and stuff like that. Like, come on, man. Them doctors trained for years to be able to go inside a human being's body to be able to do what they do. Not all of them are perfect. Some of them make mistakes.
If that's the case, I told my mom, I said, Mama, you just got on cancer, right? She said, yeah. I said, well, that God owed that doctor some student loan money. Okay? If God was going to make him a surgeon to remove your breast, you know what I'm saying, to get rid of the cancer, That doctor had to go through 13 years plus of whatever medical school, and and he's probably in debt to student loans. Why didn't God just zap it in his head when he was 12 years old, or maybe younger than that? When he thought that he was, as soon as he said, "Oh, I'm gonna be a doctor when I grow up," okay, that guy was like, "Zoop, you're a doctor. You're a cancer removing doctor." But no, he had to go to Harvard or Stanford. He had to go to one of my prestige colleges to get a doctorate and become a doctor, do some undergrad, graduate, all this other shit. He went through all this shit when God could have just said, "Zip, you're a doctor. You don't need to go to college. You can do surgery right now if you want to." You're 12 years old. You go do surgery right now. I promise you.
But then you gotta have strong enough faith for that to happen. So if you fail your entrance exam or your state exam to become a doctor, that's the devil's fault. How is it the devil's fault? That's the stuff that I don't understand. How is it one entity's fault when the other entity is stronger than that one? You see what I'm saying? The devil's gonna make you fail your test when God is stronger than the devil to help you pass your test.
For real.
So you can become the doctor and save lives. Like, that's the part that I don't understand. So the devil came up to God in his throne room like, "Yo, I got a question for you." God like, "All right, what it is?" "Hey, you know that little doctor you done created and everything, right?" He was like, "Yo, what about it?" "Yo, I want to make sure he fail this test so he don't become a doctor and start saving people so some of them souls can come to hell." "All right, I'll go ahead and let you run that." "Wait, what? Hold up. How do you let him do that? Like, where's the logic in that?" Like, that makes absolutely no sense. And I'm saying it in the aspect of, from what we talked about last time, God lets the devil do certain things. So he gonna let the devil do that? So that's why there's more jails than hospitals and schools dang near. That's why the educational system is jacked up, because the devil's doing it. So basically, God set up all his creations to fail because they got so-called free will. Somebody help me make that make sense.
It don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? According to the Bible, God set up everything for everybody, for humanity to fail, because God put the tree of knowledge of good and evil, even if it's a metaphor. God created it. He created Adam and Eve. He put it right in the midst of the garden, and he told them, "Don't touch it." But the whole point was, before they touch it, they don't have the knowledge of good and evil. So if they did it or they didn't do it, they wouldn't have known that they was doing something evil if it was evil, because they hadn't eaten from the tree. So God basically set them up for failure. And then he already knew the future. God, he already knew that Eve was going to listen to the serpent. He knew all this stuff was going to happen because he's God, right? He's all knowing. He's omnipresent. He's omniscient. So he created this shit up. He set the stage. He didn't give them the ability to know that they were doing evil. They didn't even know that they were naked. He knew that they were going to sin or whatever, and he created them anyway that way. He knew that it was all going to lead to him flooding the earth, and he did that anyway. He knew all this stuff. He knew Ted Bundy was going to come. He knew all this stuff. He knew slavery was going to happen, and he just rolled the dice anyway. He's God. He could have created a different world. He could have made it any way he wanted to. It was just like Voice of Reason asked everybody on the previous show, if you were God, what would you do? And they all said basically they would make a peaceful world where there wasn't no suffering. But that ain't what your God did, or the Bible did, or the God. If God exists, that's not what he did, because that's not the universe that we live in. We live in a universe with tremendous suffering, and it's not a peaceful world. So he had all the power, just like if you were God, you would have all the power, and he chose to do what we see. He chose Donald Trump and Joe Biden to be the best motherfucking presidents that we could ask, because that's all we fucking had. If he was you You wouldn't allow that shit. But the God that you believe in did. So you got to reconcile that with yourself if you believe in that bullshit. You got to ask yourself, why did God not behave the way that I would if I was him? You know what I'm saying? And it's just.
And mind you, I was just about to say, and mind you, you made in his image and likeness. That means, to my understanding, that God is a part of you, which means he already has that type of intellect in him. You already know that I'm gonna set up the two most garbageous people to run this country or the planet in general into the ground, and then want y'all to still come to me and ask me for help. Like that boggles my mind a lot. And the other part that really tripped me out was in the inauguration when Biden was getting sworn in. Did y'all see that Bible that he had?
Yeah, I think it was like a Thurgood Marshall's Bible or some shit.
That Bible was huge.
Yeah, it was so old.
It looked like something out of the medieval times.
It looked
like something that
there's no way you actually fucking read that shit.
Exactly. Like it's out of it looked like it made of a language that nobody even uses anymore.
Yeah, that shit was old, nigga. That shit was old.
Boy.
Like the Geneva Bible. The Geneva Bible was like 1,300 pounds.
What?
Yeah, I heard about that Bible.
Yeah, the Geneva Bible, the Great Bible, the Bishop's Bible, and you know what? I like when Kweli, when you played that video when Ray Hagen said those verses that the Bible had was already out before the Bible was printed. It was printed thousands of years before that Holy Bible. You know what I'm saying? So why are we still believing this shit? You know what I'm saying? Why are we believing some shit that was already plagiarized? You know what I'm saying? From ancient manuscripts. It was plagiarizing. And then I hate when Christians like Shay, and she said this all last week on our show, that nobody taught her about Christianity. Nobody taught her about Judaism or Islam or whatever. And Kweli made a good point. That's just like a kid saying, "Oh, well, nobody told me about the tooth fairy, so I just started putting a quarter under a tooth under my pillow, expecting somebody to come take it and give me a quarter." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's like if God, yeah, exactly. You had to be talking about the tooth fairy.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
It would be cool if R9 could call up.
Who?
R9. He is in the chat.
Yeah, go on and call in, sis. Dude, or whatever, because y'all love saying in the comments.
Bro or sis, if you're not too scared, you know what I'm saying? Because we know y'all be scared. Y'all like to talk in the chat, but they don't like to call in. So call on in. We're not gonna beat you up. We just gonna ask you questions. And if you believe something and you can't answer a few questions about what you believe, then you sincerely need to ask yourself, why do you believe that shit? Because I mean, if I believe something and you say, I want to ask you some questions about what you believe, okay, cool. Yeah, that's as simple as that. You know what I mean? So call in. We're gonna ask you some questions about what you believe. You know, we put ourselves out there. We tell you what we believe, and then y'all tell us that we wrong. So call up, tell us why we wrong. Don't just sit in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch up the subject just for a minute, just for a second, if y'all don't mind.
Go ahead.
Kweli, you was asking about something a while back about I'm referring it to Christians, but it's a question that you had asked. You was like, if aliens and stuff are real, how come they never show themselves? And I asked the Christian that question in a sense. I'm like, if God put this planet where it is and all the other planets where they are, why do you think we're the only beings with intelligence in the universe? This universe, not any other ones that you probably heard about through science. Why hasn't I mean, why would he put just us here?
Oh yeah, I was talking about the formation of the solar system. Yeah, I was talking about if God created the solar system, then why would He make 8 planets and only life can be lived on one of them? That's like an analogy. That's an analogous to an architect creating 8 houses, but only one can have running water, substance, lights, and all this other stuff. But the other ones, you can't live in them.
And that's why
that's a waste of material.
Right.
That's part of the reason why religion is creating an influx of flat earthers, because they realized just that under the biblical worldview, it makes no sense for us to be alone. So they have to create an alternate reality where the earth is the earth is the universe and the space is not real. All that stuff is fake. You know what I'm saying? So in their world, the earth is flat and it's not true that the universe is so big. That's how they reconcile that in their mind, because they're delusional.
Yeah, and that's the thing that tripped me out. Me personally, I believe there are more beings in the universe. I don't believe we're the only ones out here. And the only other reason,
I think the sheer size of the universe proves that we are not alone. Even if life forming naturally is a 1 in a billion possibility, there's still going to be hundreds of thousands of instances of it occurring throughout the universe, because the universe is so big and there's so many planets and so many stars. So, but the same reason, for the same exact reason, I don't think it's likely that any of those life forms will ever meet one another, because the size between them is too vast. The closest star to us is Alpha Proximity, and that's 2 to 3 light years away. That means even if we could travel at the speed of light, it would take 2 to 3 light years to get there. It would take us
2 to 3 years to get there.
So if you would wanted to send a message to Alpha Proximity, it'll take 2 or 3 years to get there. You say hello, and it gets there in 2 years. So in 2023, they get it, and they say hello back. And then we get it in 2025. So if we send a hello now, we wouldn't receive it back until 2025. And that's just to communicate. It would take that long. Imagine how long it would take to actually go there. So I just don't think it's likely. I don't think it's impossible, but I don't think it's likely that any life form will have the capability to travel that distance in their lifespan. Because now, on the flip side, we got drones. Like, we don't go to Mars. We just landed the Perseverance drone on Mars and stuff. So if aliens did exist, I think they would be smart enough to not come themselves. They would send some technology here, and it would probably be so advanced. If it could go from star system to star system, it would probably be so advanced we wouldn't even be able to detect it as technology. We would probably think it was something natural, because they would be smart enough to make it look like a bird. So we would see it like, oh, that's a vulture or a hawk or something, but it's really a drone from outer space. If I was an alien, you wouldn't know I was here. I know that, you know what I'm saying? I would be smart enough to disguise my drone as a bird or some shit. So I just don't think that if they were here that we would know, or if they exist that they would be able to come here, because it's just too far. You know what I mean? And like Neil deGrasse Tyson always say, maybe they did come and they determined that it wasn't no intelligent life on Earth, and they kept going.
Dude, the thing about it that tripped me out about what you just said was the 2 movies of Men in Black. The beginning of the first one, when Will Smith said he figured his teacher was from Mars, and Agent M was like, nah, she's from Saturn. She's from one of the moons of Saturn. They had Sylvester Stallone up there. They had a couple other people up there. But anyway, that would be a perfect way to blend in with to them, which would be a primitive society, because we ain't doing none of the sci-fi movie type stuff that we think we should be doing. And they're probably on that and above that already.
Well, if
like the movie with Keanu
Reeves through interstellar space, then I imagine they got to be very, very advanced, because we ain't got that far yet.
Extremely advanced.
We got the 2 Voyagers that just went interstellar, but I mean, they just kind of, they didn't even expect them ships to last that long. They just kind of floating through space. You know what I'm saying? They don't got a plan.
Pretty much.
But so, like, because first of all, like, we don't even know what's out there. You know what I'm saying? It could be stuff out there in space that we just simply don't know. We don't know what we don't know. You know, they talking about this dark matter stuff. 95% of the universe, the gravity in the universe is under. We don't know what the source of it is. So something going on that we obviously, because we didn't evolve. Clearly, I know a lot of y'all believers don't believe in evolution. But the reason why we don't understand that stuff is because we didn't have to understand that stuff in order to survive in the plains of Africa. We evolved just fine.
Yeah.
Just being able to detect the stuff at the speeds and the sizes that we detect them on Earth. So when it comes to interstellar space, that stuff seems like foreign language, because it is. We didn't evolve to understand that stuff. So we can only understand it so much. You know what I'm saying? But I think, you know what I'm saying, this is my prediction. My prophecy, if you will. I think that AI is gonna be the next big wolf on this campus that we call the Earth University. Because humans, we got all these shortcomings, and we're fragile. Like we can break very easily. We get sick. We gotta sleep. We gotta eat. With technology, like a robot that's sophisticated enough to build another robot, once that happens, once you got robots building robots, it's over with. Because they're just gonna get better and better every time, and they don't have to sleep and eat and rest, and they don't get tired, and they can do a whole lot more than what we can do a whole lot faster. And like that, so it's over with. Once they artificial intelligence get to that point, we ain't gotta be worrying about aliens. We gotta be worried about artificial intelligence. If you gonna, you know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna be the next big dog on this campus. Before some aliens.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Is they done came out with so many sci-fi movies on that. The main one that a lot of people know about is the Terminator movie. The AI with the Skynet went through the archives of the internet and started becoming self-aware. Once it realized what was going on, it was like, I got to get rid of these humans. They're killing the planet. Like, how do you fight something? Like you just said, that can make machines at a faster and higher rate.
You know what?
And people can be born.
That's the whole premise of the movie, the Matrix trilogy. That's what
I'm about to say the Matrix too.
That's exactly.
And the crazy thing about it, the way Morpheus broke it down, he was like, "Do you realize the human body can make so many kilowatts of energy, more than a regular battery that we would use?"
Like for the audience, just in case anybody it's crazy because I watched that was like one of my favorite movies. I probably watched that shit like 10 times before I understood what was really going on. You know, so basically, in the Matrix, what happens was these machines, the humans created these machines, and the machines got advanced to the point where they were making other machines, and they decided they were gonna kill a lot of humans, and the humans said, okay, we got to destroy all the machines. So they were at war with these machines. So the humans decided they were gonna, what Morpheus called, scorch the sky. What they did was they did something to where they blocked out the sun, and the sunlight couldn't get through or whatever. That's why when they showed the real world, it was so dark, and you saw all these human bodies, because what the machines did, because the humans had blocked out the sun, they used the humans for energy because they couldn't get it from the sun no more. So they started harvesting humans for the energy. So they were growing fields of humans, and they created the Matrix so that the humans could stay alive and calm. And so they thought that they were in this real world when really it was fake. And a few of the people had, you know what I'm saying, woke up out of the Matrix and were in the real world in the city underground called Zion. So that's what the whole premise of the Matrix is, if anybody don't know. So it's an excellent story, you know what I'm saying? I wish they would have did better with the third one, but you know what I'm saying, it's still cool.
Yeah. But the other thing is, before you jump back onto the original topic, was when I heard Ronald Reagan's speech back in, I want to say the 80s, like 88 or 86 or something like that. He was making a speech that one of the only things that's gonna bring humankind or mankind together is a threat. And he wasn't saying a threat like from people, from person to person or country to country. I think he said an existential threat, meaning
like an alien threat,
an alien life form. Yeah, an alien threat that was gonna come to Earth and make everybody pretty much link up like Independence Day. And the way that he said it, he was like, we need to have like some type of space system or some type of a space defense system set up to prepare for that situation. Fast forward to, let's say, last year, the year before last, Donald Trump came out with the same thing, talking about we're going to make another branch of the military called the Space Force, which is comprised of part of the Navy and part of the Army. No, part of the Navy and part of the Air Force. So that also made me think, what are these people, or where are these people getting this information from, that there could be a likely threat to come to the planet, and you got to come up with a whole nother branch of the military to deal with a force from outer space or another planet that is going to make people have to link up, that's going to make people have to put their differences, religion, all that aside to survive.
I think
like you don't just come up with that just off of sheer looking at movies and theories. Like something or somebody is telling these people this. That's just my understanding and my belief on how that whole situation went, because we haven't had anything to go into space like a space shuttle or a satellite to tell us that, okay, like let's say in the sci-fi aspect, that there's a whole fleet of warships on the other side of Saturn or something like that, and they're coming this way. Like nobody has said, and if there is some, they're not telling the people about it. I'm just saying this as a hypothetical.
I think, in my opinion, I think like with the Ronald Reagan shit, I think what they were trying to do, or whoever said this, I think what they were trying to do was say, not that a real alien or extraterrestrial threat is necessary, but that they could just simply make it up, lie about it, and say that there's an extraterrestrial threat, and that story could be enough to unite the people. I think that's more so the point of what they're saying. Now, that's just my opinion to what they were saying. And with the Donald Trump Space Force thing, I think what he was trying to do is not fight aliens, but fight other countries from outer space. So they would have
exactly. That's a way better way to look at it too.
Like that would be positioned in orbit. So you got a satellite with a laser on it. I don't know, some type of weapon that's in space that's aimed at Earth though. You know what I'm saying? Not aimed at no aliens or no shit like that. They're just trying to attack people better. The same way they used to fight with swords, now they're fighting with guns and bombs. And then, you know what I'm saying, I guess now they're going to be fighting with satellites and drones and
lasers and stuff like that. You right.
They're moving into the space age, man.
That's another great way to look at it too.
Yep. But where is God at? God's supposed to be in space, right? So I guess God is the arbiter. Like, hey, you know what, Donald Trump, hey, you know, I'm gonna make a phone call to Donald Trump. Hey, you want me to shoot this motherfucker? You want me to shoot Russia? All right, then, Donald Trump. All right, man. I'll holler at you later. All right, man, we're gonna go out, bro. God said, hang up, nigga.
You know.
So it's just like, I just don't understand, man. Like, why do they, all this shit that's going on, they want to say, well, God got his hand on everything. Really? I bet he do. I guess God got his hand on your ass, too. I bet I was telling you.
Hey, Kwame, God got his hands on a lot of things. God got his hands on a lot of things, if that's the case. His hands are doing a lot of work that will make you question him, as in, if you gonna protect us from, let's just say, the hypothetical alien threat, why have we not advanced past where we're at to be able to deal with that? And then, like what Kweli was saying, let's just say it's not an alien threat. Let's just say it's another way to attack countries from space. Why are we not being able to be notified of such information? Because if you think about it, y'all remember the Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
You remember how that laser beam hit the Empire State Building and destroyed the whole city pretty much?
Yeah.
If you're creating something that powerful, maybe if you're not even using laser beam, let's just say you're using a bomb, you're using something that destructive. Why are you letting people do things to that magnitude to almost wipe out a whole entire planet, or at least half the planet, which will cause more famine and more financial despair, than to let the people who don't know be able to fight back and prevent something like that from happening? Why are you keeping your children in the dark?
Well,
why are you not equipping them with...
Hypothesis A, either God is an asshole, or hypothesis B, God does not exist.
True.
That's your two choices. So,
because I'm looking at the title now, and I'm tied into it. Yeah, I'm tied into it. So if you praying that, as the saying goes, God bless America. If that's the case, why do you need God to bless one of the so-called most powerful countries on the planet? Why can't he bless other countries for them to get on the same level and everybody live happily? Regardless of whether you're in shape, out of shape, you believe or don't believe, why hasn't that not happened? People all over this planet pray to so many different deities, and nothing's happening. I think Chris Rock made a joke, or I think it was Eddie Griffin that made a joke. He was like, when the Gulf War was going on, he was like, if you prayed to your God and your God gave you sticks and stones to throw at the people that my God believed in, who got tanks and automatic weapons, what God are you going to believe in? Dude, I cracked up laughing when I thought about it, because I'm like, when you look at the news, they showing people over there with sticks, rocks, all types of stuff, throwing it at these soldiers, and these soldiers with M16 fully automatic weapons, lighting them up. I mean, like, why would you pray to a God that puts you at a disadvantage?
Well, you can even go to the Bible, man. When I forget, I think it's the Israelites was fighting the Moabites, and the Moabites sacrificed his son to their God, and the Moabites won the battle. So it's like, how you still gonna believe in Yahweh when Shemash, the god of the Moabites, apparently the sacrifice to him was effective?
Exactly.
That part. See, that's the thing. I just take some Hebrews to call in. The guys, the Hebrew Israelites. I know, man. Them niggas ain't gonna call. Oh, I got church today. I said, ain't today Sunday? Lying ass nigga.
Exactly.
They ain't gonna call him.
Tell that nigga this is church. This is the Atheist church live now.
Yeah, that's why I went on me. I've been trying to get my Christian people to call in. Man, they know they don't want to come to this. Now they're calling to the ACA. No offense. We love the ACA, but I think we too real over here. They probably called to us. Oh, these niggas keep it too damn real.
We gonna get that, man. I think as long as we keep it consistent, man, they'll probably, because see what happens is, I think people, they'll watch for a few weeks, maybe months and stuff before they decide to call in. Because even when I'm listening to the radio and stuff, because I don't watch too much TV, I listen to a lot of radio shows though, and people that call in, I hear a lot. They always say, long time listener, first time calling. Long time listener, first time calling. Long time. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to give some people some time, you know what I mean? They gonna get over their fear. You know what I mean? These people still believe in hell. They still believe in Jesus, man. They still thinking that the dead zombie gonna come out of space. So we got to give them some time to, you know what I'm saying, wrap their head around the fact that it's young, popping ass black men out here that don't believe in the bullshit, and it's not holding us back. And you know what I'm saying? Then maybe they'll see, okay, let's see what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because the shows that we're gonna be bringing in the future, oh yeah, they ain't gonna be just like tonight. You know what I'm saying? Heavy questions that's gonna make people think. You know what I mean? There's no way around it. You're gonna either have to think about it, or hopefully somebody can call up here with a good answer, and hell, teach us something. You know what I mean? Answer one of these questions. But the reason why we bring these topics to the table is because we haven't heard good answers. So we want people to answer the questions. We want to know the truth. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to be smart asses. We ain't trying to.
I'm not trying to be combative. We're not.
And you wrong. We trying to say, okay, what's the truth here? Because it seems like the Bible is bullshit to me, and so many of my people are living in this bullshit, and I feel like it's holding our community back. You know what I'm saying? Like tremendously. So we gotta wake up.
That's
folks,
true.
You know what I mean?
That's true, because I'm gonna say it like this before I get off. The way that you're saying it makes plenty of sense, and the other thing is, outside of wrapping your head around the situation, around the topic of discussion that's going on this channel, is that people are, outside of being afraid, they will say, to my guesstimation, that we're giving you answers, you're just not accepting them. You're giving answers that don't make sense. You can't ask a student to add 2 plus 2, and they're giving you circumference of a cup. That's not answering the question. You're going around it. You're still in the same ballpark, but you're in a whole nother side of the field. Like if somebody asks a Christian a specific question such as this, you're going to revert back to the thing that's not giving you the full answer. You're going to revert back to something that contradicts itself. That's not going to help you unlock your mind from what's going on. And that's the part that also trips me out about the situation. Like, you got to think outside of the book that you've been given. And I've ran into a lot of Muslims, and they're like, we don't read no other book but this. But you've been reading that book since you was young. You know it's front to back, left, right, inside and out, upside down, and everything. Why are you not reading something else? Like, you can be so far, you can be way more advanced in what you're doing outside of this book. This is not the only book out there. Like, you got to evolve mentally outside of just this one specific teaching. Like me, I go into some of everything. I don't really deal with religion too much. I deal with what some people call the occult or mysticism or whatever. Because to me, a lot of that, it makes sense as to why the Bible or the God that people believe in as far as Christianity goes. Because when I was young, like most of us, we went to church. You ain't had no choice. So when I started looking into stuff like that, that's why I brought up to you Bobby Hemmett, because Bobby Hemmett was one of the first people I jumped on to. And I don't agree with everything that he says, because some of the stuff don't make sense to me. Like, it don't grasp my attention the way that it grasps his, because of the books that he's read and the things that he's seen and so on and so forth. But with that, it's like you got to do more work. Even if you don't read, you can look up videos, you can talk to other people outside your religion and figure that out. But like we all know, they're afraid. They have their version of hell that they can possibly go to. So of course they're not going to go outside of that, because they don't want to suffer in the afterlife when you're suffering here on this planet.
Mm-hmm. It's a fear-based belief that's keeping them believing. You know what I'm saying? Religion, especially Christianity, they got this fear-based marketing. So it's a double-sided sword. They got a promise of heaven in the afterlife and a threat of hell. So again, I just want to remind everybody that if you wouldn't believe somebody telling you that your house burnt down or you was at work and you can't go home to verify it, then why would you believe somebody that you gotta go to heaven or hell after you die and you ain't dead and they ain't dead to verify it? Ain't nobody came back from the dead to tell us nothing. So nobody knows what's gonna happen after you die, and it seems like you're just gonna be dead. So I wouldn't take nobody's word for that, especially if they telling me about some eternal hellfire or some shit. That's just like somebody telling you your house burned down and you ain't verified. But man, I think we had a good show. We've been going for about an hour and a half, so we're gonna get on out of here, man. I appreciate you calling in, DSA, man. It's always good talking to you, brother. And
man, it's always good talking to y'all, man. Appreciate it, y'all. Much love to everybody in the chat and everything like that, though.
For sure, man. And peace to brother Kwame. He had to get back to his job and everything, but you know what I'm saying, we're gonna be back next week, same time, under the new name Atheist Church Live, and you can still get it on the podcast. So I know a lot of people have been listening to the podcast on the lecture. We want to thank y'all for showing us love. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate all that stuff. The show gets bigger and bigger every week. So just make sure you request for the Atheist Church Live on your smart speaker. And everybody else that's already listening, I appreciate you. Just remember that you can also subscribe to us on YouTube, and everybody that's on YouTube, remember that you can also subscribe to us on the podcast. And check out QueliKush.com for other book recommendations and articles and the other podcasts that we host and all that good stuff like that. And we will see y'all.